Religion is the state, and the state is religion. Show me a society that is not founded on religion, and I will show you a society that does not exist. Every society is structured in accordance with the thought process of the religious self-consciousness. Every society is founded on religion. The religious self-consciousness has dominion over the earth. Welcome to another in our Cosmic Spirituality Session series entitled Evolution and Your Spirituality. In part 3 of this series, we focus our attention on two aspects of the individual, namely the physical and the true self. However, we failed to mention one role or function of the body or physical form. That role or function is independence and self-responsibility. The fact that you as a unit of energy is separate from that other unit of energy over there makes you accountable for what you think and do. You are responsible for the evolution of that aspect of the conscious field that you are. You have no one to blame but yourself. I think it was very important for us to at least include this in today's Spirituality Session series, so you could add it to what you learned about the physical part of the individual or the body in the last session. In this spirituality session, we focus on the third aspect of the individual. And the third aspect of the individual is called the soul. The base soul, the lower self, the lower mind, the sensitive soul. So depending on who wrote about it and which book you may be reading from, you may see for the third aspect of the individual, the soul, the base soul, the lower self, the lower mind, or the sensitive soul. I guess of all the names attributed to the third aspect of the individual, the sensitive soul is the one that gives the best description of what it really is. However, we refer to it most commonly as the base soul or the lower mind because of its function. But the sensitive soul kind of says exactly what it is. The third aspect of the individual is a feeling aspect. The base soul is a lower realm entity. So it is formed in the lower realm. Being an entity of the lower realm means it comprises all the emotional energy wavelengths of the lower realm. The concept of the gods of the lower realm placing their identity on the spirit being is not a reference to the physical form or to matter. The identity of the gods of the lower realm that has been placed on the spirit being is actually the base soul. The lower realm is a conscious energy field, but the wavelengths that make up this field is a concentration of emotional wavelengths. Individuals who have not yet read The Revelation of the Eternal Realm, you are being asked to kindly pick up your copy, as this subject is dealt with in appreciable detail in the book. The base soul serves at least three main functions or purposes. The first one we want to look at, the first function, is that it locks the spirit being into the lower realm. The only way we can be liberated from the lower realm is by changing our vibration and making the base soul a part of the true self. What Jesus is said to refer to as making the two into one. The second function of the base soul is it protects the young spirit being. The base soul is fierce and ruthless. It is that beast that snarls and pounds on anyone who it believes is about to attack the spirit being or to attack the true self. It stands in defense of the young, fragile, hurting, or vulnerable spirit. The truth about the base soul is that if the adult or mature spirit being does not bring it into union with the true self, it will make every attempt to protect you, even though you are now of age and can protect yourself. The third purpose for the base soul is it is a gateway. The base soul is a gateway through which our experiences enters and impacts us so we can evolve. As spirit beings, we only act on experiences that create a feeling within us. We do not attend to anything, any experience that do not create a feeling. It must at least bring our attention to it and create a feeling for us to stop and think and reflect about it. I would like to interject here and say that the base soul or sensitive soul that we are discussing is actually our ego. I don't remember us putting that in earlier, that the base soul is also referred to as the ego. As I was saying before, we do not attend to experiences that do not create a feeling. The base soul creates a feeling about our experience. If we truthfully accept the feeling that we are feeling, then this will help our evolution. When we ask ourselves why we feel the way we're feeling, as soon as we get into that reflective mood, the true self begins to expand. As we seek the answer from within ourselves, the governing principle opens up to us more about ourselves. And as it does so, our awareness heightens. Now, I want you to listen to me carefully. If you deny what you are feeling, you block your opportunity to evolve. You must first accept what you are feeling. If you are feeling anger, accept the fact that you are angry. If you are feeling hate, accept the fact that you are feeling hate. You cannot change who or what you are not. You can only change who you are. You must own whatever feeling is generated by the experience. Own the feeling as what you are feeling. Do not close the gate of your base soul. If you close the gate, you will impede your spiritual evolution process. Now, a fourth purpose of the base soul or ego is, I guess I should mention it. It is our main motivator. The base soul endows us with the will to act or to move. It is a powerhouse. The true self has a powerhouse in it as well, but it works in unison with the other components that we referred to in the last session. And so when it's in unison with the other components, it doesn't give us as much drive or will to act as the base soul does. And that again is quite detailed in the revelation of the eternal realm. So, our main driving force is our base soul. We have now arrived at the tripartite individual. The individual comprises body, soul, and spirit. Our focus on the human, or the evolution of the human, will be centered on the upright form. As possessors of the upright form, we spend most of our time in the lower realm, at the religious self-consciousness state. In the religious self-consciousness state, the gods govern by appealing to our fears and emotions. They entice us with rewards for conforming and punishment for rebelling. Fear causes us to hold some beliefs as authoritative and infallible. The fear of blasphemy. We talk a lot about blasphemy in Christendom. The fear of blasphemy prevents us from analyzing those beliefs. Cosmic consciousness is aware of the fact that we were kept at that level of fundamentalism because we first need to learn to conform. Until that kingdom or governing principle that is within us becomes active, there is a tendency for the young spirit being to become highly destructive. The spirit being runs as if it were wild, giving into the fierce and ruthless base soul. So the gods play a part with the belief system that they generate or support. They play a part in ensuring that the young spirit being doesn't go ahead and destroy itself over and over again. The gods instill fear to conform until we are transformed. But being a conformist means we are prisoners. We are first prisoners to bizarre superstitions and idolatry. The darker the belief system, the more bizarre the superstition, and the more bizarre the idolatry. And as we move away from that darkness, we come into what we refer to as orthodoxy, and we become prisoners of orthodoxy. I smile inwardly when individuals say to me, I'm not religious, I'm just a secular person, or I'm an atheist. Because there is no secular consciousness and there is no atheistic consciousness either. There are 8 main principles of the religious self-consciousness. These are a tendency towards or a belief in conforming to external laws. So we first think we have to obey and conform to the laws outside of ourselves. Another principle is a demonstration of a me first attitude, even at the expense of others. And sometimes we kind of disguise this me first attitude by saying, it is self-preservation. But the me first really dominates at the religious self-consciousness state. Me first, my family first, my country first, my job first, my vested interest. Another principle is the strong belief in hierarchy and authority, and the lauding and worshipping of some things over other things. Some worship a god or gods, some worship a man, some worship money, some worship the job, some worship other material possessions. But there is always something that the religious self-consciousness think it is supposed to laud or put on a pedestal. Another principle is, when we are at the religious self-consciousness, we embrace linear institutionalization. Everyone and everything must follow a set pattern. And anyone or anything that does not follow the pattern that is established by the institution is disregarded or punished. You must conform. Another principle is there's a tendency towards norms and rituals. And change becomes very difficult because no one has ever done it that way before. Another principle is the strong belief in right and wrong, rewards and punishment, praise and recognition. And then we have the principle of judgmental. We are so highly judgmental. Last but not least, there is the principle or the belief in a separateness, and that kind of separateness defies oneness in all form. So for the better part, we really do not feel as if we are one with our neighbor. And this helps to feed the me first attitude that we have. So by the time we look at the principles, the 8 main principles upon which the religious self-consciousness is formed, we realize that there's really no secular consciousness and there's no atheistic consciousness either. So, unless you've been awakened to the cosmic or Christ consciousness, you are at the religious self-consciousness state. And as we said before, we spend most of our time in the upright form in a religious self-consciousness state. When we are awakened to the cosmic consciousness state, we are pretty close to the end of our stay here in the lower realm. What we're doing is putting the last bit on, refining ourselves to go into another dimension. And this is where we would like to leave you today. I'm sure you have quite a bit that you need to ponder for the week. Have yourself a rich and fulfilling week. And remember always to aspire to become full.